Hey guys, so today we are working with division, and this time we're working with division with decimals. And so what we're doing here is when we have a remainder, we've been learning about how to extend that remainder by extending a zero after the decimal and bringing that down, because whenever we're dividing decimals, we do not have remainders. So we want to make sure that when we are dividing decimals that we continue to add zeros until we get nothing left. So if we look at page 183, that's what we're working from right now. Page 183, and here is an example. And it says Fidel is making a batch of 18 rolls. The dough for the rolls weighs 29 and 7/10 ounces. Fidel wants to make each roll the same size. How much should each roll weigh? And they've given you an example here. So if you were to just go ahead and divide it the standard algorithm way, you get a remainder. And so what they're saying here is instead, maybe extend it by adding a zero after the decimal. And when you do that, it now becomes 90, and you can divide 18 into 90, which gives you no remainders. Because again, as I said, we don't want any remainders when we're dividing. Okay, so let's continue and we're going to do number 1 and 2 together, and then you will do page 184, which is number 3, 4, and 5 on your own, and you will submit that for your assignment, your work completion assignment. Okay, so let's continue. Let's do number 1. So look at the example above. Suppose Fidel decides to use the dough to make 12 rolls instead of 18 rolls. How much should each roll weigh? Show your work. Okay, so in the example, we had 29 and 7/10 inside the box. So I'm going to do that here, 29.7 inside the box. And that means that 18 goes outside the box. Looks like I'm going to be writing my answer a little bit into the question because I put my box so high. Oops. And, what we're not doing 18, right? No, let me erase that. We're not doing 18 because this question is telling us to put 12. Do you see? 12 rolls instead of 18. So we're going to do 12 on the outside here. There we go. Now I'm going to change my color. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and divide like normal. My decimal is going to go straight up, so it's going to go right here, okay? And now I'm going to divide 12 into 2, which won't go, so I can put a 0 there, or I can put a placeholder, just an X, but I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 because we are dealing with decimals. And now I'm going to divide 12 into 29, and 12 goes into 29 2 times because 2 times 12 is 24. So I'm going to put my 2 up here on my quotient bar. And remember, it's going to, just like we've talked about in the previous lessons, we want our whatever number we are dividing, we want the quotient to go right above it. So since we are dealing with 29 in the 9 place value, our 2 is going to be in that same place value. Where the 9 is in the ones, so we want our 2 in the ones as well. 2 times 12 is 24. And I'm going to subtract here. 29 minus 24 is 5. But I'm not done. I still need to bring down my 7. So I'm going to put my 7 right here. And I'm going to divide again because that is what our steps tell us to do. So 12 goes into 57. How many times, guys? 12 times 5 is 60, right? So 12 times 4. Let's try 12 times 4. That's 48. And I'm going to subtract that. And let's see, I'm going to cross this off, and it becomes a 4 because I am regrouping. And then 17 minus 8 is 9. So I'm going to get a remainder of 9. But based off what we've been learning, we cannot have a remainder of 9 and when we have decimals. So that means I have to add a 0 right here next to the 7. And then I'm going to bring down this 0. And now I'm going to divide it again. Okay, this is where our long division comes in, right? Because long division is dividing over and over and over again until we have nothing left. Okay, so 12 into 90. Let's see. 12 times 8 is 96. So that's too high. So I'm going to have to go with 12 times 7. I hope you guys can see that up here. 7 times 12 is 84. So that's going to go below. And I'm going to subtract. And I'm going to cross that out and put an 8. And then this becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 60. Or 6, excuse me. I went ahead of myself. My brain was processing it because I already know if I can't have a remainder, so I have to add another 0. And then I bring that down. Whoop. There we go. And then it becomes 60. And now I'm going to divide again. And 12 goes into 60 5 times because 5 times 12 is 60. And then I will have no remainder. I'm going to subtract here, and then I get nothing left. Boop. That's supposed to be a 0 with a cross through it. Okay, so my answer is up here. So it's 2.475. So let me switch to text here, and I'm going to write that on my solution. So it's 2.475. So how much should each roll weigh? So 2.475 ounces, because in the previous problem, he talks about that he does his weight in ounces. 2.475. All right, there we go. Let's move on. Number 2. It says, insert a decimal point in the number 3625 to show the correct quotient. Okay, so we're dividing 29 by 8. And so that means it's not going to go. So I'm going to just set it up like as a visual because that's how I roll. I'm a visual learner. So let's use dark blue. And I'm going to use a space over here since we haven't used this, okay? So my 29 is going to go on the outside. And my 8 is going to go on the inside. And 29 will not go into 8, so I'm going to put in a decimal point. And I'm going to put it right up there because I want to make sure that my decimal is aligned and it goes straight up. And then I'm going to add a 0. So here, even though I'm adding a decimal point and a 0, did I take any value away from my 8 when I did that? No, my 8 is still in the ones place. It still has the value of 8 ones. I just added in placeholders so that I can continue to divide without remainders. So now, let's see. I think I did this wrong, you guys. I'm looking at it, and I think the 8 is supposed to go on the outside. Oh, goodness gracious, Mrs. Collins. Did you guys notice that? Did I do it wrong? Did you guys see that? And you're like, wait a minute, she's going, and I'm not sure about that. Ay, ay, ay. I planned this one, sure, right? You guys are watching my video. This is funny. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'm erasing. I'm going to rewrite it. Sometimes you just got to do that. Okay, 8 goes on the outside. 29 is my dividend. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, how many times does 8 go into 29? 3 times, right? Because I know 8's not going to go into 2. 8 is going to go into 29 3 times, and that is 24. That's going to go right here on the bottom. And I'm going to subtract, and I get 5 left over. Kudos to anyone who figured out my mistake before I did. Good job, good job. Gotta think on your toes, right? Think on your toes, just keep going. I will say that I'm exhausted. It has been a long day. If you don't know, I'm recording this at night. Okay, so I have a remainder, but we've just talked about how we don't want to have remainders. And so when we don't want to have remainders, what do? We add a decimal point and a placeholder. So I'm going to put my decimal point straight up. And now I can bring down this 0 right here, and I can divide again. And I actually don't have to completely do the problem because look, it gave me the answer right here. And I have a 3 and a point, so I know that this is going to go 6 times, which makes sense though because 6 times 8 is 48, and that's as super close as we're going to get without going over. And if I subtract that, I'm going to get 2 left over. But again, we don't want to have leftovers, so we're going to add another 0, bring that down. And now we have 8 into 20, which I already know is going to go 2 times because, again, it gave me the answer. So I'm actually not going to finish this problem because if I want to go back, it says insert a decimal point in the number 3625 to show the correct quotient. Well, it's already given me the quotient, so all I'm doing is putting the decimal place where it goes. And since I've started the problem, I know exactly where the decimal point goes. It goes right after the 3. So I'm going to, with a different color to make it a little bit more visual, I'm going to put in my decimal point right in the middle here. There you go. 3.625 is what we're looking for. I'll go ahead and type that out to make that bigger to help anyone who can't see it. So I'm going to make my text size a little bit bigger here. And I'm going to type it in 3.625. There you go. Anyway, so there you go. Please remember, because I did not catch this, but 29 is our dividend, 8 is our divisor. So your dividend is usually the number that comes first in a division problem. So let's see. If we look at number 3, it doesn't write it in a number sentence. But here we go. Find the quotient of 9 and 43 divided by 82. 9.43 is your dividend, so that would go inside the box, okay? I hope that clarifies because I may have confused you when I first started this problem. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Bye.